Theme song for the Gear Podcast by special demand, everybody. The Christmas episode for 2025. Leon and I are in person. When was the last time we did this? We did it not that long ago. It was a few months ago.
Not that long ago, but we didn't have the festive spirit.
Oh, the spirit of Christmas, just like the spirit of cricket, mate.
Mate, the spirit of cricket that Travis Head has so embodied as he's ripped the guts out of England.
Yep.
Now, I mean, I'm just going to take full credit for it. Obviously, Ryan and I did the Ashes countdown gig, and I believe maybe some people complained that it was a bit loud for the batsmen.
Is that right?
Maybe someone said it on broadcast, or maybe, I don't know. A mate of mine was like, oh yeah, I was listening to the radio or watching the TV, and they said, gee, wouldn't that put them off? Mate, what your biggest problem is driving on the up against Mitchell Starc.
Yeah.
He's out there. He's ripping out your middle stump. He's making you nick off. It's all over and done, folks.
You don't need to worry about
11 days of cricket, but I will take credit for just putting the English openers off by blasting rock guitar at it. So there you go.
Also, mate, like you've played, as I listened to Leon's Thank You 2025 video, as I was driving to the studio, actually, you played in the middle of the stadium earlier this year. Like you played in that exact position. You know what it sounds like on there. It sounds like nothing.
Yeah.
Because the PA is pointed in the wrong direction. You're not going to hear fuck all. So, just calm down, people. Calm down, England.
And also, professional athletes. If you're used to someone hurling a piece of leather at you at 150 kilometers an hour, and you're totally okay with that, and you can actually predict where it's going to go, I don't think hearing my out-of-tune guitar on top of a stadium is going to put you off at all. But maybe their mental disintegration all began with that.
Maybe
they were just out there, and you're trying to play your game your way.
Yep.
And when you're hearing the Thunderstruck solo,
was your guitar out of tune for real?
No, it was perfectly in
mine's
tune.
always out of tune whenever I do that gig.
Mine was bang on in tune, and then Ryan was playing my other Chilia, which has the Floyd and is like impossible to knock out of tune. So the one thing that I could give us was that we were reasonably in tune.
Oh, well, that's nice.
In time, that's
nice.
a whole different matter. That's being in time's overrated anyway.
Yeah, you can't be in time. You can be on time.
Yeah.
Showing up on time is important.
Have you been following the Ashes?
I have been following the Ashes, only briefly. I know that we pumped them, just signed, sealed, and delivered on Sunday, was it?
Yeah, but it got a bit tense.
Yeah,
England didn't play terrible, so went to day 5.
Yep. It was exciting, actually. And I was thinking, because when was the last time that England won a test? It was like 2011 or something?
Yeah.
So that's a good record to keep standing. So I was a little bit worried that, they pushed that out. But hey, we got there in the end. Mate, the boys, they just get it done. That's what we do.
They just get it done, exactly. And we just get it done here on the Gear Podcast, don't we? We want to say thank you to everybody this year. Before even, normally we do this at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
We just want to say thanks to everybody who continues to tune into the podcast, tells their mates about it, and supports what we do, where we're just hanging out, talking about guitar gear. And speaking of guitar gear, Troy, because it's the end of 2025, and there's been a lot that has come out, could you give me your 3 favorite things that you tried or acquired this year? I think I know what they are. I think some people watching this may know what they are, but I want to hear it from the man himself.
Let me see. I think the number one revelation has been the Sin 20 IR. Let's
sitting right there, just out of shot.
Now, let me tell you something, Uncle Leon. If you haven't heard the Sin 20 IR before, everybody, you can go over to hammerspacerecording.com YouTube channel, and you can hear just about every Synergy module under the sun demo through that thing. Actually, that's not true, because some of these videos will still be coming out in the next few months, but a lot of them have been demoed. I think it sounds bloody fantastic. I've gigged with it, I've recorded with it, I've demoed it, I've played in the room with it, and I kind of don't need anything else, actually.
Which is saying a lot.
Yeah.
Because you have everything else, so that's a point of reference.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I've got a wall of amps behind me. So the thing is, nothing's irrelevant. That's the thing. Everything still has a time and has a place, and it's still fun. So I don't think where I'm at least, nothing gets replaced. If I was in a smaller environment, smaller studio, if I all of a sudden needed to make some quick bucks by selling some old amps and whatnot, I would be more than happy to use the Synergy modules. And the Sin 20 IR, mate, it is a ripper of a unit. So that's number one for me. What about you?
Have you compared it to some of the other solutions you have in here, and will you be doing some videos on those comparisons?
Spoiler alert. Yeah, I have actually. I sent some to you yesterday. I just checked out some power amps, and I think it's pretty close. It's actually a lot closer than I thought, comparing the Sin 20AR to the Fryette 292 and the Fryette Power Station, the PS2 as a power amp. I was quite surprised about that. That's maybe a discussion for another time, like when I've got a bit more research. And I said to you, because I went to do a comparison video, which I'm not sure when we'll put this out, but I've got a demo of the Plexi module, the Metroplex module, the Marshall JMP module, and the BEBB module, all racked up in some Sin 2s, switching between them and dialing them in. And I thought, well, what power amp am I going to run this into to do a proper demo? Plugged in the 292, and I was like, oh, it sounds good, but something about it doesn't seem quite right. And I tried a few other things, and they all kind of sounded the same, actually. What I realized was that I did a gig a night or two ago without any earplugs and really loud, and I do forget that does color my hearing quite a bit. It's probably self-explanatory. It's not a surprise to anybody, but it's hard when you sing and your foldback isn't good to get through a gig and then to like deal with the consequences.
Well, mate, it's hard when you sing.
Mate, singing's easy. I don't have a problem singing. I don't have a problem singing and playing. I don't know the words to anything, but no one seems to care about that either.
No one's perfect.
But mate, it's a whole different world when you got to do all that stuff and then come in and mix a song the next day. So anyway, that's fine. I got through it. I tested all these power amps because I thought something sounded not quite right. As it turns out, it was all in my head. Everything sounds completely fine and pretty good. And so, yeah, mate, it's I'm going to do a proper video comparing a bunch of power amps soon. I think that it's more noticeable using a solid state power amp than like against the tubes versus the tubes.
I see.
In and of themselves, at least in the little experience I had. And the thing is too, man, is like with any of these things, if you can plug something in and you can just leave it, and that's one thing. But you got power amps with depth and presence and stuff and voicing controls, like that does alter the sound a lot. So it's hard to know exactly where the baseline is with these things.
Yeah.
But,
I think it's interesting. You know, people say, oh, a tube power amp sounds a certain way. The more I learn about this stuff, it's less about the tubes and how they sound and more about how you have to design the rest of the amplifier, in particular the transformers, and then the impedance interaction that happens between the output stage of the amplifier, how it's designed, whether it has negative feedback or not, whether it has, how much control you have over those things, and then the way it interacts with a particular cabinet. Like that is obviously part of not only the tone, but the feel as well. Whereas a solid state power amp isn't going to have those, it's not going to have that mojo going on in there. And it's not that it's mojo. People understand this stuff pretty well. But yeah, it is even running a small, like a 20 watt power section or something like that. The fact that you have to design it a certain way and that it still has those interactions with the cabinet, I think plays a big role in it rather than something that's just kind of, that doesn't do that.
Yeah. Look, I think my testing when I did it was all based on power amps that are mic'd up with a 57. I'm not running anything crazy loud. I think, what's the volume at I find the volume on the Sin 20 after about 11, maybe 12 o'clock, it doesn't get that much louder.
Yeah.
So I'm at about 10, 11 o'clock at the moment on it. So not stupidly loud, certainly not quiet. Like it wouldn't be comfortable to sit in the room with it at that level. But
we're not talking Plexi cranked up, absolute nuclear war.
Exactly.
Levels.
I think with these power amps and at least the experience I had yesterday when I was trying them out, I think if they were all at volume and you were playing with a drummer or you were playing like sitting in the room next to it, the difference may be different again, the experience of listening, but that may come to because of like the power amp is sounding different. It might be the fact that the sound is so loud, it's hitting you in a different way. That's something you can't really compare and demonstrate to people in a video, I don't think. Well, at least if I've not seen a video where that's been super true.
I mean, the power amp being part of the tone, and again, that interaction with the speaker cabinet, the impedance stuff. I mean, there's some modeling units which model that stuff, and I've played around with it a lot. We're like, oh, this is important. This maybe explains why I like using this particular style of power amp with something as a tonal thing. And definitely something I noticed running, if you're using, say, a load box, like say you're using I don't know, 2 notes captor or something with the impedance curve is nothing like a real speaker. It doesn't sound bad, but when you how you can take the speaker through and run it to a real cab, so you get the like correct impedance loading stuff. I remember doing that the first time, being like, "Whoa, what's happening? Why does this sound so different?" So yeah, it's also in a recording setup. Yeah, having a small amp like that where you get it where it's not completely falling apart.
Yeah, it's and like I don't know. I think it's going to be something that I'll test. Is like, at what point is it a diminishing returns thing to have? Is it the fact that you've got a I mean, the 292, big shout out to Richo if he watches this, because it's his 292 power amp, but like 180 watts collective of power there versus, which is loud, the fan in it's pretty loud, versus like the 20 watt, which is like really convenient, sounds pretty much the same as a frequency response, top to bottom sort of thing. It's like, is it actually like better just to run the small thing? Like, I don't know. I mean, these are just
well, I mean,
questions.
You have come up with a metric for this, right? So how jackhammery is the Sin 20 IR?
You know what? It's that's a really good question, and I would say I don't have enough data to answer that question, because I think the jackhammer is more noticeable playing live than it is in the studio. I think the studio thing, when you're listening through studio monitors, it's a different experience, right? So you do get elements of it. I think the Synergy modules all sound good enough where I don't feel like the jackhammer is really such an issue. But I don't know. I'm going to get some more data. I'm going to probably do a video on that early next year.
Great.
I got to borrow your Syn 5050 as well, and I'd really like to get my hands on the pedal baby again, because I bought that power amp a couple of years ago, being that it's a Class AB power amp, not a Class D, which I have your Matrix power amp here still.
Yeah, right behind you, right there. I thought that existed.
Well, mate,
they've gone under, right?
Have they?
I think so, yeah.
That's a shame. Like, their stuff's fine.
That was very much the power amp of choice for quite a few years, though.
Man, I tried a lot of options when I was making impulse responses to find the best sounding power amp, and I thought that was the best sounding one. The flattest. It was actually almost like a little darker than the others that I tried, but it seemed to work great for impulse responses. I didn't ever have an issue.
I shot all my IRs with that as well.
Yeah.
It just does the thing, does it really nicely.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like I don't know. Like, obviously it makes stuff loud. So I guess if that's all that you need to do, like put volume through something and check frequency response, it does it great for that. There's no coloration really from the unit that you might get on a tube power amp, or not all tube power amps, but some tube power amps and other things. So anyway, look, that's going to be a video. I'm really, I'm not excited to do it. I think it's going to be a little bit of work. So yeah, keep an eye out for that if you watch this. What's that channel called again? Oh, hammerspacerecording.com.
And where are you at, mate? You're well over 200 subs now.
Yeah, I was actually, part of me thought, maybe I can get to 250 by Christmas. I don't think that's going to happen.
Ooh,
but that's
well,
all right.
mate, you never know. If
Maybe
we put this episode out on Christmas Eve, being the Christmas episode, maybe people will rush over to Hammerspace Recording and check out some of your demos and hit the magic subscribe button.
Yeah, I've got quite a few out now. It's been quite fun to put these things together. So, mate, I'm just trying to become the new Leon Todd. Out with the old, in with the new. They're sick of you, mate.
Out with the old, in with the Nuno.
Well, what about you, mate? So, what about you? Favorite gear acquisition of the year?
So we're going to do 3 each, right? So I can budget this. It will surprise no one, just me being an absolute shill for big digital.
For big digital.
I think the most useful piece of gear this year that I acquired is the Fractal AM4. Mm-hmm. And disclaimer, I was a beta tester or a beta tester, so I'm in no way... I mean, none of us are transparently unbiased, heavily biased, but I think it's the product that a lot of people have wanted from them, myself included, because while I love the FM3 and I've done hundreds of gigs with that thing by now, it doesn't fit in my guitar bag.
Yep.
The AM4 does, so I can take... If I want to go and do a gig, and I did this last weekend, I just put the AM4 in the front pocket of my guitar bag. I had a guitar in the bag, and I went and did the gig, and it was perfect. And it runs off. It doesn't have a built-in power supply, so you run off a wall wart. So you're sort of farming some of that stuff out. It doesn't have a fan in it. It's light. What I really enjoyed was the fact that I probably overthink heaps of my presets as well. You know what I did, mate? Wah, built in with an expression pedal.
Yep.
Amp, delay, and I think I had a phaser in front, and I used the phaser like 3 times during the gig. We played a Robin Trower song, so I had it on for the entirety of that song, just set on the Univibe.
Yep.
It was great. I used maybe 3 scenes, had the option of using 4. I didn't even, there's a bunch of double press things on there where you can access the tuner and tap tempo. It was the first time I'd used it live in that setup. So I was like, oh, this is really easy. Oh, I want to get the tuner, just hit those 2 together. Then I have the option to mute it if I want to. So if I feel like I'm out of tune while I'm playing, I can just sneakily, check a few notes on there. And it sounds amazing. So I had a bit of delay.
Yep.
So that's like, I didn't need reverb. I didn't need pitch detune. I ran in mono. I like pitch detune.
Yeah.
Especially if we're doing we're doing a ragdoll thing where we're doing our original thing and it's a big room and the PA is stereo and all that kind of goodness that you sometimes get. And you know what I used, Troy?
Tell me, mate.
For the ragdoll stuff, I've been using the FAS Stealth Blue 5153. Sounds incredible. Love the way it sounds. Because it's kind of got the Mark Series chug, but the JCM 800 grack about it.
Yep.
And then for stuff, if we're doing covers or I've been doing the Club Cabaret thing, JCM 800 for that. For this gig, I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I used the Bogner Ecstasy models.
All right.
It was great. They sounded fantastic for just doing a rock gig. So I think I used the blue mode. And I like some of the amp models now have the integrated, rather than it be like Euro Blue Modern, Euro Blue Vintage. There's just a switch in there. So
that's way better.
Yeah.
That's way better.
Not all of the models are like that, but like on the JVM, you get OD1, green, red, orange. So you can do that. So yeah, there's... They've worked on that aspect of it, and it's nice to use on the front panel as well.
Yep.
Same size as the VP4, but yeah, as just I think the thing with the FM3 was we did a Mindsight gig a while ago where, I took the FM3 in my backpack. It was fine, but I could almost fit it in my guitar bag, and maybe I just should have got a different guitar bag. But I was just like, oh, if they just made something that didn't have the foot switches on it.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a bunch of other people who've spoken about the concept of like an FM0, so it's just the brain.
Oh, yeah.
Bring your own MIDI controller. But yeah, the fact they managed to get this thing so small, I think is awesome. And it's, I think a lot of people have made this, the big strength with Fractal stuff is that they're constantly adding to it and updating it. But I think it has meant in the past that they've launched products where people have got them and been like, oh, it doesn't have this. That's a shame. Can you add it? And they eventually, and in good time, add those things. But this one feels like the most complete thing they've ever released.
Right.
Where you probably don't need to update the firmware ever, and you just use it in its state that it comes out of, and it's good to go.
That's cool. I'm really bad for updating any digital pedals like that because I tend to dial in a sound and then I'll go use it, and then it never touches a USB cable.
Which is the correct way to use any piece of gear, right? You get your sounds and stop fucking around with it.
Yeah. I mean, for some of the stuff that I do, I do like to tweak, so I'm not exclusively like that, but I just also can't be asked, man. Sometimes you set up your rig, you want to go do a gig because that's your job. It's about the tool for the job. It's not about the hobby side of it.
Yep.
And those are 2 different things that I think...
There's a lot of overlap in there.
But
sometimes it's good to just really lean into one.
Yeah.
I think maybe I got too into the this is my job, who cares a few years ago and neglected even playing guitar at home and practicing. And then it's really easy to go too far the other way where you're like, oh, I need all these things to play live. You're like, no, you just need a sound sometimes. And if it's enjoyable to play, even better.
Yep.
If it's not too jackhammery, then that's about everything else is gravy from there. So
yeah, I'm probably at that same spot because my job is to play guitar, and probably for the last few years, probably since having children, I don't play guitar for the enjoyment of playing guitar. I play it because someone pays me money to do so. So it's a bit sad, really, but that's been the nice thing about doing this channel, Hammer Space Recording on YouTube.
Hey,
is it forces
you got to justify your hobby.
Yeah, it's funny because I also forgot that I knew how to play songs. I don't know how to play them very well, and I forget. I probably only have a couple dozen. But it's just like riffs. I'm like, oh, I remember I used to be able to play that. I'll do it for an intro to this video. Fuck yeah, that's that makes me happy. So
it's a great way to do it. Hey.
So anyway, it's yeah. go see me. But I'm going to stop pumping the YouTube channel. But
Hammer-spaced recording, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get Troy to 250. That'd be a great thing to do.
The Ecstasy Synergy module, which is I think this is the second module that I've got, and I've gigged with that quite a bit. And that thing's really cool too. The Ecstasy does have its own thing, which I really wish I'd had the opportunity to play the full-size head. I don't think there's any around, but it'd be nice to just have that feel one day. Yeah, like obviously I've tried it in the Fractal as well, and I've always liked it in that, but kind of need that mental baseline as well of what the experience is like.
You know what reminds me of? I think the JCM 800 thing is I have two poles when it comes to like playing distorted rock guitar. There's the JCM 800 thing, where you kind of want to play very percussively. You maybe want to just play like AC/DC. That's the bass line.
Yep.
All the AC/DC, Judas Priest, Dio, like all the classic hard rock and heavy metal stuff.
Yep.
To me is that sound, the Marshall sound. And then there's the 90s thing, which is the rectifier.
Yep.
And I feel like once I got into the recto thing, we got into the recto thing, makes you play in a really different way.
Yep.
That is like, yeah, there's a correct way to play this amp, right? They're the two poles that I often oscillate between on there. And then somewhere in the middle, because I've had my Soldano for so long, the Soldano thing kind of sits somewhere in the middle of that, where you've got a lot of gain and you have to be careful with the low end, but you can still get it thracky like the Marshall thing. I feel like maybe if the Soldano thing is like skewed from the center 10% towards the rectifier thing, then the Ecstasy is in a similar way, maybe like just 10% more Marshall, where it's got the gain and the saturation. But if you just tell yourself you're playing a Marshall, then you play in a certain way, and it just makes it easy to play that way.
Yeah, I getcha.
You know, you can, and what I was doing was like backing off my volume a bit, and it was pretty crunchy and AC/DC-ish. But then when you boost it, it's just liquidy.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas a pure JCM 800 thing wouldn't do that. It'd still be very percussive.
Yeah.
Still, it would. You go from Malcolm Young to Angus Young, whereas on this you can go from like Malcolm Young to, I don't know, a bit of Steve Vai or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like when you push it, it goes somewhere else.
I feel like that's a thing that I've had to renegotiate in my brain of how to play. Cause
it's a good way of putting it.
It's like the percussive thing, because I like Nuno so much. I've always wanted to get the attack, like make sure that the attack was on the notes and the percussiveness was there when I play chords and stuff. But then it's just like, thinking of it from an audio thing, it's like it ends up being so much transient and then no body of note.
Yeah.
And then some amps, they do the opposite where it's like, I think it's just like the recto spongy sort of thing where it's big and girthy, but when you hit it, it just doesn't respond the same way. So I've always found that like lacking for how I like to play. It's been cool. Like, I mean, not to just pump the Synergy stuff, but because you got like, I've been going through so many different modules and trying these different sounds to find these balances and just like, really acknowledge again what it does to the playing style and be okay with it.
Yep.
It's been different.
You're sort of renegotiating your expectations of how to play. I'd compare it to this, right? If you're swimming in the ocean and there's a bit of swell or something. We're down at Floriat Beach on Australia Day.
Yep.
And like when the water kind of sucks back and you have to like swim against it a little bit.
Yep.
That's playing a Marshall, or that's playing like a dry percussive guitar sound where you put a little bit of work in.
Yep.
Right. But then when the waves are coming in, if you just surrender to it and let it like wash you in, that's what playing with like a liquidy high gain thing is like.
Yep.
And understanding how to go between those. And if you grow up in Australia, you spend a lot of time at the beach, right? So you're used to that. But if you've ever been to the beach with someone who didn't grow up near a beach and they get in the water and you're like, why are you incapacitated by this?
Yep.
They're not used to the push and pull of water like that. It's a uniquely Australian thing, I realized. Especially if you go to the beach with the European, where they're like, well, the water's just cold all around us, or it's still and warm and we go on holiday. Whereas, especially in Perth, right, we're used to kind of the chop.
Yep.
And you're like, cool, you got to be safe, but also you can push it a little bit, run into some wave.
Yeah, be naughty.
Yeah, exactly. That playfulness. So it's a bit like that. So yeah, AM4 for me, I would have said the Sin 20 would have been on the list, but you've already covered that.
Yeah, so I can't.
Honourable mention. What about number 2.
You know what I'm going to put on there? This is not new gear, like that's come out, but just new to me gear. I'm going to put the Boss MS3 on that.
Ah, cool.
Because it's such a perfect solution for me for its form factor. I do really like the Boss effects. Even, I know it's not as cool as the individual pedals, but
yeah,
they sound fine.
Here's the thing. Everyone loves the individual pedals and they're like, I feel like maybe Boss were uncool for a while and then people were like, actually, they're always killing it with their individual pedals. But then the multi-effects kind of, there's always like, oh, I have this Boss multi-effects and it's good, but it doesn't. But the MS3 has the built-in effects loop switching, right?
Yeah, so I've got some loops set up in the MS3. So
That's such a good idea.
Yeah, it's like it's got 3 effects loops. I use 2 of them because I've got it on a really small board. So yeah, just flick in some effects, some pedals when I need it for the lower gain. I use the Brown Protein. I think I got that last year, so that doesn't count. But that pedal you can run as each side can be its own sound.
Cool.
It's got like a TRS jack on the things. Anyway, it's great for that. So I can run it as like I run one side into one loop, the other side into the other loop. I can run that into a cleaner amp for if I'm running something like into an AC30 or AC15. I've done gigs with it this year where that's been the sound. I can hit one button to change between a bunch of effects on and off as well as pedals on and off. I can also run that pedal board as into the Syn 20AR and MIDI switch the channels. So I've used it for that as well. So it covers me for a lot of different
Very
tones.
utilitarian piece of gear.
Yeah, and look, the gigs that I do, I got to do, okay, I do a gig of, let's say, 40 songs, but I've got like 200 other songs I can pull out if someone requests it. So I don't care about nailing every tone. It's not really important. It's like, I got to remember what the chords are and what the lyrics are. That's like number one. And then the sound will take care of itself because no one gives a shit if you don't have the exact sound. At least in my experience. You just have to be able to play the song. So I've just got some stuff programmed in there that are simple. Like I might have a phaser on some patches on the cleaner sounds. I've got some compressor and some auto wah stuff. It's like, it just covers everything and it's really small. Probably the only thing about it I don't like is it does need to be plugged into the computer to use the editor.
Yeah, right.
To dial in the tones more effectively. I've tried to do it on the unit, and you can, but it's just a little bit more fiddly. It's not. I don't know if it's as difficult to say the AX8, but it's more aligned to that. So the other pedals, the Boss, like what was the one used to the ME50?
Yeah, I had the ME50. Yep.
And those style ones where there's like more knobs and stuff, I think that's a much more intuitive thing to dial in.
The Ragdoll Live at the Rosemount album that you recorded and mixed, I remember for whatever reason my I had a really simple board at the time with a drive pedal and a wah on it, and I got to the gig and it wasn't working, but I had my ME50 with it because we had done a gig earlier, and I was using the ME50 on like acoustic guitar. And yeah, I just ended up using that into my Soldano, and it was great.
Yeah.
Just used a boost and a wah on it. I was still gigging with that thing until about 2014. I think I was doing some duo stuff with a friend where I was like, I'll just take an electric guitar.
Yep.
And then, I'll use I think I had a always-on compressor, and there was sort of like a low-gain amp model in it.
Oh, okay.
Which, was like cab IR-less.
Yep.
So it was pretty raw dog, but it did the job. I could play along and have a jangly, clean sound.
Yep.
Bunch of reverb and delay as well. So, yeah. Ah, man, where is that thing? It's got to be somewhere.
Mate, watch out for a video on that coming up very soon.
Yeah. But that was all what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
No advanced routing, just twist the knobs.
I think that's really important and underappreciated sometimes is simplicity. It's again, it's like if you need to just play a bunch of songs or you want to do something quickly, it's almost like, I've said this before, man, sometimes the sound is irrelevant. Like the sounds are all, the modern stuff at least, it's all at a comparable level of good as far as I'm concerned. And sometimes it's just that people don't know how to dial in the thing. Like I've said before, the HX Stomp, it's great. Like if you can't get a sound out of that, then maybe you're just doing it wrong, because plenty of other people in the world are getting good sounds out of it and are using it, and it's completely fine. Maybe not as sophisticated as like the AX8, the Axifx 3 or whatever. But man, it's as a tool. If you think of it as being a tool, it does its job. So yeah, it's same like this little MS3 Boss pedal. It does the job great. The ME50 does the job great when you just need a tool for the job. And that's the number one thing that I look to for the gear that I buy or that I want to use. And the same thing goes for like plugins and that sort of stuff too. The sex factor is always there, and I get seduced by it. But man, at the end of the day, like when I'm literally pulling my hair out, like, oh, how am I just going to get through this job? It's the simple stuff, the stuff that works that's important to me. So that's my number 2.
Yeah. What am I going to put next on the list? I did a lot of gigs with the Strat Ultra or the Ultra Luxe vintage. So I'll put that on there, even though it's way more of a high-end thing. But what I like about it is it feels like an old guitar. And I've compared it to my 77, which is a really great guitar that has, been modded to death now, like fingerboard re-radius, stainless refret, different pickups. You borrowed it for a while ages ago and really like cleaned the whole guitar up and got that tobacco smell out of it.
And that was so long ago now. That was like 2012.
Yeah.
So yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah. So it's been through a few incarnations, but that's a really cool sounding guitar now. And I think it was the first Strat. Well, I have used it so much on the channel as well, and I've done some gigs with it. I remember doing a gig with it though, where it was at Mojo's. So, who knows how old the wiring was in there, but like I couldn't use it on the like I had to use the neck and middle for the whole gig because there was obviously a
ground loop.
Ground loop going on with the
power
in the
it
venue.
might have been a just
or
interference. Yeah.
But it was shocking.
Yep.
Just the loudest buzz ever. So that was really disappointing. And also it was like a 7-inch radius or something. Now it's a 7.5, 8. So, not my favorite. And again, totally fine. I can live with it. But yeah, the Ultralux Vintage compound radius board, rather than buying a custom shop Strat and then taking it to Tim and getting it re-radius and having him do a stainless refret on it, it just kind of comes out of the box like that.
Yep.
So, and I did, I toured with it as well. So I think it deserves to be on the list where I just traveled with it. It worked. It looks great as well. It's the red with the kind of, the light checking on there. And it's just, I think a lot of people didn't get it because they were like, oh, how's it vintage if it's got stainless frets? Or like, how's it an Ultra if it's got I don't know. It's probably, again, I don't know if they offer a custom shop option like that, but it kind of feels like a custom shop Strat. But it's a production Strat, and it's got locking tuners and the 2-point bridge and stuff like that. So, yeah, I know Brett Kingman has one. He's touring with it as well. There was a really cool rig rundown he did with someone where he's just sort of like, this is the guitar, and I plug it into an FM9, and I have all these sounds. So, yeah, which was basically the rig I was using as well. So, and Brett's been doing this a lot longer than we have. So, I think he knows what's good. And I'd agree, yeah. And also comparing just the tones of the stock pickups, like it's a 60s style thing. Like it's probably the closest thing I've got to my old Strat, but it feels old. Feels like an old guitar that's been well looked after and has had some nice mods done to it. So yeah, I really like the Ultra series. I think they're the best Fenders they've done like ever.
I can't remember if I've played yours or not. I think I must have.
I think we did a gig together where your comments were like you played it for a second. You're like, oh, it does feel like a Sir.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's just them doing a Sir, right? Right.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
kind of the Sir, what is it? The classic S Antique or something. One of my students has a red classic S Antique and it's basically the same guitar, which I think for a lot of people are like, why don't Fender do something comparable to what Sir or Anderson are doing? And they do. So, that would probably be the one. The Player series are great as well.
Right.
I think if I was going to recommend to someone, just go buy a guitar.
The Players ones that I've played.
You want a good guitar? You want a Strat? Get a Player Strat. It works. Or a Tele. We were talking about that last time with the higher selling stuff. So, yeah, I mean, that would be a rig. So far, I've assembled a touring rig, AM4, Ultralux Strat, happy days. Literally don't need anything else.
Yep.
But there will be more.
Yeah, of course. There's always more.
Which you'll tell me about your number 3 now.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to think of the stuff I've got this year. I haven't really bought any. Well, the only guitar I bought this year was the Iceman, which is over there, which still isn't functional. I've got to get that sorted out. But I have bought a lot of stuff. Like there's a lot of honorable mentions because, man, I mean, I bought a Kemper this year and it's been pretty useful.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it because I was a little bit of a Kemper hater. Just there's something about it, No, not based on anything, but it's been a great studio tool. The Tone X1 has been great. So in terms of shilling for digital, and that's one.
Well, you've been using the Tone X1 for your Dockers gigs, right?
I was, I used it for a few, not for all of them. I used the IRX for a lot of gigs this year, right. And then went to the Tone X1 for the last few games of the season. But it was great. I mean, the size, form factor is great. So, I've bought a few amps. Like I've got the EVH over there, the 5153. Great amp, man. I mean, everything's pretty good and usable. I bought a new computer this year. So,
I mean, that could
shout out to that.
List,
I bought a camera this year too. So, where do you really go with this stuff? I'm just going to go with something kind of.
Just indulge yourself. Give us something just like something that was you bought just because it was sexy.
Oh, I bought because I was sexy. Okay, I was going to give you a proper one, but let me see. What have I got I'm trying to think of the sexy stuff I bought this year. What was the most indulgent thing I purchased? I don't know if there was anything, actually. I bet there was, and I'll finish.
Was it something that you didn't purchase that you might think about in 2026?
Yeah, there's been a few things that have come up on the marketplace.
Or stuff you've tried?
Well, I'll tell you what, let me just tell you, there's one plugin I bought that I really like, and it's hard to describe why I like it so much, but it is the Kazrog K-Clip plugin.
Right.
And I'm just going to say that. It's not life-changing, but it's done a thing that has been really useful to the way that I work. So I'm just going to say that as a plugin, as something slightly different.
Kazrog do cool stuff, man.
Yeah,
I really like their stuff.
Because I got their True Iron plugin ages ago. Which this is just, I don't want to get too nerdy with this, but anything in the realm of saturation and that sort of stuff. So the True Iron is like a transformer-based thing.
Yeah.
It's really easy to overdo it, and same thing goes for tape emulation and console emulation, all that sort of stuff. So I didn't use that plugin for a little while, but I used it on a track last week that I mixed, like more of a like an R&B-ish poppy, and it worked great for that. Like really, really great on bass, and I think I used it on the whole mix as well. But yeah, the K-Clip plugin, I've kind of worked out what I need that for in my mixing, and it's made life different.
Yeah.
It's
different is good.
Yeah, I was trying to think of other plugins and stuff that I bought because man, I mean, there's been just general bits and pieces that's come and gone, and that's one that I'm like, yeah, it's been great and it's been really useful. In terms of things that I've like looked at and thought about really hard, there's been a couple of Soldano SLO 100s that have come up that I've been really, really close to. I still have one up on the shelf that doesn't belong to me that I need to probably give back to the owner at some point. So yeah, that's certainly been on the list. There's been a couple of guitars, some Charvels. There was one that had a built-in, the person had installed the guitar synth stuff, new Roland Boss guitar synth, and I was really interested in getting that. But I'm at I've got to be a little bit more careful with some of the indulgent stuff I buy at the moment, because it's just, once I start, it's like a slippery slope. And it's almost like in my brain, I've got this point of like, if something costs like, it used to be like $300 or $200, I don't mind spending up to that. It's like a bit expensive. This is a long time ago. And then you push it out to 500 and then push it out to 1,000. And it's like, if I get this, I'm not going to be like ruining my life. But if I start to push that out to 2, 3, 4, 5,000 guitars, then I might be like, ugh, where do you stop with that? So yeah, I'm in the new year, my main thing is like, I just like guitar amps and I enjoy guitar amps. So there may be some cabinets or some speakers that I'll look at getting. We'll see. I've been lucky enough that in the last couple of months, because I've been demoing Synergy stuff, it's really like, it's satisfied my new is fun part of the brain.
Yep.
It's given me that like little bit of like
novelty,
dopamine hit. And so perhaps when I'm out of demoing those and they all go back, like I'll have something else that I want to try out. But yeah, man, there's a few amps that I've got on my list that I would like to get eventually, and that's pretty much I think that's my list. So what about you? Number 3.
Yeah, if I'm going for pure indulgence, I'll
well, there's a couple, mate.
Yeah, there's many. I've already mentioned a guitar. I sold a few guitars this year. I kind of basically consolidated, right? So a few guitars I was not playing at all. So I sold those, but then I bought other guitars, right? I got my Chilia Renegade, which I love, like reverse headstock Floyd Rose shredder guitar.
Yep.
Just, I've 2025 has been the year of the strat-shaped thing for me. You know, like we speaking about the Fender earlier, love that thing. I've got an Ultra 2 that I got last year, which is awesome as well, which I did some gigs with. And then, yeah, the Renegade, I mean, I've been playing that guitar a lot. And one of the things where it's like, I think I had the realization where when I play a guitar like that, I play a particular way, right? Where you just lean, it's just, oh, cool, I can be Paul Gilbert. I can be slightly more like Nuno Betancourt. This is such a thing. That the Sir Modern that I got off Jason is incredible as well. I did a couple of gigs with that recently, and it's just, yeah, like any Sir, so easy to play. You've sort of been rediscovering yours.
This one's good. I've had this for ages. I've talked about it, and I've been using it for the last few videos too. So, man, it's just great. Like, fuck, they're good guitars.
Yeah, man. So that would be a candidate. The Rockman X100 pedal, I just thought was awesome and so well done. And, you know, I literally use it for that clean 2 mode with the chorus, and it's just beautiful. But I'm going to, just in terms of something that I'm so glad exists, you know, that this while I probably have these sounds covered, I don't have them in this way, and it's the Alta preamp from Headfirst.
Yes.
I knew it was going to be good because we've played the amp. We played the Evil Joe as well, which is amazing. But yeah, so well executed. It's light. You can like MIDI control stuff like the saturation switch on there. The way the channels are laid out makes heaps of sense. It's got the integrated 2-note stuff if you want to go direct. It's got a mono effects loop. If you want to use the power amp sim and cab sim in it, you can plug another preamp into the loop on there. But it also just sounds very good. Like it, you know, it sort of covers something that the Synergy modules that I have don't cover as much. It's different to the modded Marshall and my Cherrytone Molecular. It's got a different voicing about it. Obviously loving the modded Marshall thing. The clean on it is very good. It's a single rack space. It's red. And it's an Australian manufacturer making stuff. So yeah, I sort of have to give Jason kudos to that. And also because his channel's such a great resource, you know. It's he's one of the good guys in the industry. So I'm going to put that on there. I knew I would enjoy it, but doing the video for it, I was just like, this is, you know, you can being able to go from like a Dokken style sound to basically like, you know, and it was developed with Jim Root from Slipknot. Like you can do the modern chugga chugga, you know, if you want it to sound like Slipknot or you want it to sound like Alter Bridge or something, you can just turn the bass up, turn the mids down, change the voicing switch, and you're kind of there. So yeah, that one, toss up between that and the Rockman maybe is just like pure indulgence. Great piece of gear.
Yeah, I've got to try that, man. Like, yeah, big shout out to Jason. Always been like just wicked to deal with. And the last time I spoke to him about the Evil Joe amp, which I don't even remember when that was now, earlier this year at some point, because I had it here for a couple of weeks or a week or two to demo. I was like, man, I'm just going to give you a call and tell you how much I like the amp, and I'll only be like 5 minutes on the phone for like an hour and a half.
5 minutes.
It's just, it's just always nice to find more people who are one of us, you know? So
I was saying as well to him, you know, there's they do the amp panel, but they need to do the ADA MP1 on that. And like, there's no detailed analysis on the internet of what that thing actually is and how it works. Yeah,
man, that'd be amazing to have. Because like, I just get the feeling Dave Friedman's going to just hate on it the whole time. But I'm okay. I'm okay with Dave Friedman wants to do that. Just tell me what the deal is, mate. You know, it's there might be some, not even voodoo, there might be some weird stuff going on that explains some stuff.
Yeah,
and
there might be some dumb stuff in there. Who knows?
It's just nice to have it stated. Like, what was I looking up the other day?
Well, they did the thing with the Boogie Stiletto, right? You were asking them about that.
Yeah,
I asked them, like, what is it?
Yeah, maybe you can answer this because I feel like it was on someone said this the other day, but they were talking about, it might have even been you, talking about how the Vi Legacy amp was basically a Bogner. If it wasn't you, it might have been Nielsen or somebody.
I think it's fairly well documented because Steve was using the Ecstasy for, if it wasn't the sex and religion stuff, it was Fire Garden. Yeah.
But I looked that up, like I just typed that into the Google and got nothing back on it. And I was like, I couldn't remember who said it, but it does make sense to me. Like there's a thing in the bottom end of both of those amps, the Synergy modules, which are the ones I'm
when I demoed the Synergy modules, I did the Legacy and the Ecstasy in the same video because I was like, hey, they're basically,
Yep.
you know, which one sounds the most like Steve Vai? Probably actually the Ecstasy. So yeah, I think that's like the worst kept secret in gear where, you know, Steve's obviously an incredible guitar player, and if he did nothing in the business space, would still be equally as respected, but he's also a really clever businessman. Every piece of gear that guy plays is a signature piece of gear.
Yep.
And obviously, you know, he had the Carvin amp and then the Carvin preamp and the Carvin preamp pedal and whatever happened there. Then he's moved over to Synergy where, you know, Steve Vai knows his worth. You know, he's a high value individual. So of course he's going to have, you know, he was using a DS1 for a long time and then did the Ibanez Gemini. Why wouldn't you, if you've already got a signature guitar with Ibanez, be like, guys, I should have a signature pedal too, you know? So yeah, I think he's like an original gear hustler, isn't he?
Yeah.
Compare that to someone like George Lynch. George has had a lot of signature stuff and worked with like every company, but, you know, no one goes, oh yeah, I got to get the like, you know, the George Lynch amp. Which one?
Yeah.
You know? Whereas like with Steve, I think obviously, yeah, he was using the Bogner and it's one of those things where I'm sure he'll never talk about it. And I think Bogner would probably never talk about it candidly either. So it feels like one of those, not the truth will be obscured, but it's like an industry insider thing where only people who need to know will know what went down there.
Well, it's just one of those things that you watch the amp panel and then on offhand comment, well, because it's like, I can just picture it. Well, because, you know, obviously Carvin stole the legacy off the Bogner Ecstasy, blah, blah,
but they
blah, blah.
sound so similar as well. That's the thing. And like the layout, it's fairly obvious, right?
It's just nice to have someone like say it in that knows more than what we do.
You know, the great thing about Dave is he doesn't give a fuck what anyone else thinks. And he'll just drop stuff like that where you're like, man, anyone else in this industry is so scared about the smallest infraction because what if no one buys my amps or what if my company does this? And he just doesn't give a fuck because he knows what he does is great. And like his clients respect him. And then if you buy one of his products, people, you know, there's so many stories of like, oh, I bought a BE and I wanted this thing. So, you know, I sent it to Dave and he did this mod for me and turned it around really quickly. And like he still answers all his emails. Like, you know, he's just remained himself. And he's somebody I think who could deserve to just be like, nah, I don't need, go away, plebs.
Yep.
But, you know, he does all this, jumps on podcasts, does Tone Talk, does the amp panel thing.
Yep. And
also just doesn't like, you know what it is? My dad and my uncle love this saying. It's like he's one of the few guys who says it like it used to be. You know?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, and watching the Bob Bradshaw Michael Nielsen thing, Bob seems like another guy who says it the way it used to be. Like, doesn't give a fuck. Like, and why should you, man? This stuff isn't that serious. You know.
Dave, come and have a chat to us. Let's talk about Axe Effects.
Yeah.
Let's talk about doing gigs with Axe Effects.
Yep. And we'll you know what? Imagine making him do one of the gigs we do.
Oh my God.
You know he'd be able to do it.
Yeah.
And would have all the same complaints that we have.
Yeah.
It would just be like, you guys are idiots for still doing this. You need to value your time more. Why don't you spend more time with your family, you giant jerk? Why don't you spend more time on your YouTube channel, you idiot? So yeah.
Yeah. And he'd be right. We should be doing that.
Yeah. No, it's...
Anyway.
Yeah. I love that. You know, it's such a fun... The world would be a more dull place without people like that.
Yeah.
You know, without your Reinhold Bogners and your Dave Friedmans and
Steve
like
Fryettes.
Steve Fryettes, exactly. You know, it's like you're not getting a like sanitized PG version of anything.
Yep.
You know, they're like very good at what they do. Bruce Egnater would be a good guy to... I feel like so much of this stuff, you know, Steve Fryette has does stuff and is very public. Then Bruce is just kind of like, you know, he's like the Sith Lord in the background, like Synergy. Like that's all coming from Bruce, right? That was originally his thing, the modular system. So yeah, it'd be interesting, man. There'd be so many. It's not a big industry, right? So yeah. Anyway, here's what I want to ask while we're on this.
Yeah.
What's the okayest piece of gear that you still would like never get rid of? Because for me, I'll tell you right now, Troy, it's some of my Hamer guitars.
Oh yeah.
They're good, but also some of them are like my Explorer or my Standard is a fucking great guitar. That thing is like Vibe Town.
Yep.
The Californian I have is Vibe Town for what it does. For like the Sunburst, you know what? It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I can't justify getting rid of it because I always wanted like what do they call the finish? Like salmon blush or something. It's a red quilt top double cutaway 90s Hamer. Always wanted one. Got one years ago. Done a few gigs with it. It's fine.
Yep.
The neck's way too small and thin for me. It sounds fine. You know, I'd always pick my Black Les Paul Custom over it, or I'd always pick something else over it. It's totally fine. What about you?
I mean, I could basically say that about a lot of my Ibanez guitars.
Yeah, right.
Because they're great and I do like them, but I don't need them and I don't play music that suits them
The
anymore.
550 or the 570 more? I'd say the 570 for you. That's
as in the Okayest or the...
as in the Okayest.
That one got timmed a couple of years ago and it does feel
It's
really
better?
good to
Yeah,
play.
right.
It's really fun. But it's all sentimental, man. None of it's necessary. And yeah, again, like it feels weird to show up to a gig with a 550 and the neck, because the neck's so thin too.
Have you done a gig with it?
I reckon I did one gig with it about 15 years ago.
Right.
It's been a long time. Maybe I'll do it.
2026 Troy Neverband Challenge, gig
Yeah.
an RG 550.
I could. I mean, it just needs to be set up a bit better. But
Have you got the original like V1 or V8 pickups?
no,
whatever they are in there?
I did. They might be around somewhere, but
Yeah.
I've changed them all out at some
Yeah.
points. I never liked them that much.
No.
And like I put a JB in one of it. I've got a 550 and a 570.
Yep.
So there's a JB in one, there's a Tone Zone in the other. And I think the neck pickups are all random shit too. So I mangled those guitars a few years ago thinking that everything had to have a Damasio and had to be changed.
Yep.
And it's not 100% the same. And probably one thing I don't like about like that whole thing is, man, it's a pain in the ass to change a bunch of pickups.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you got to get ones that match together and like, fuck, like if you got to take the strings off a guitar just to resolder something in and then play it, like you can't A-B it quickly.
Yep.
It's kind of a like pain in the ass. So I started it and I use the bridge pickup for most things as well. So
Yeah.
that's fine. Basically, once I discovered that I like a JB and I like a Jazz, I'm like, well, that's convenient.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, just use that. And to be fair, man, even like I've got a 59 in the Explorer in the bridge. That sounds great too. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't like that in the neck of my PRS SE so
Right.
much, but anyway, that's beside the point. Like pretty much a bunch of those Ibanez guitars, my Les Paul, my Ibanez Les Paul, I'll maybe put
Yeah.
that at the top, where it was the first like nice guitar that I ever bought, so I can't ever sell it.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's in a different category, right? Where it's foundational to the fact that you still like guitars.
Well, let's throw an amp in there just to be slightly more balanced. All right, mate. The Splore Nitro is going on.
yeah,
on
there
the
you go.
list. There you go.
The okayest stamp ever.
It's
But
just
less that it's okay, more that it averages to okay, because either the best thing or the worst
it's
thing you've ever heard.
literally exactly right. I've had times with it where I cannot pull a sound and I've used it anyway and been miserable with it. And I've had times when it's been literally the best guitar sound I've ever played and I can't work out what's happening. Like between these experiences, I thought it was the speakers or the cabinets that I
Right.
used, and I don't think it's that. I'm not sure if it's the guitar. I don't know what's going on. I've got a lot of notes on how it works, but it's one thing that I'm like really reluctant to put on the market. I just have this little bit of sick kind of, I don't know, love for it, but I just can't use it that much. It's a weird amp, man. So I'll put that on the top of the list.
Yep. I'm trying to think of an amp or maybe a preamp. You know what the okayest piece of gear I have is that Kitty Hawk preamp.
Oh yeah. The Shitty
Always
Hawk.
wanted one. Yeah, the Shitty Hawk. It has like two really cool sounds, but then most of the time it's like, you know, a lot of those preamps you can't get just a good AC/DC style crunch out of them. It can do pristine clean. It can do really nice saturated stuff, but everything else, it was sort of like that Cache of Rock mod that I tried recently. Same thing. Yeah, you know what? A lot of people will disagree with me. The Marshall JMP1.
Really?
Yeah, that's the okayest piece of gear. I gigged that thing for years, right? And I remember doing a gig where you were like, yeah, you should just play a head again.
Oh, yeah.
And I played a DSL for the next gig, and I was like, oh, this is so much better. It's basically the sound I was always trying to get out of the JMP one, but it's just there.
Yep.
So yeah, I've done a lot of gigs with that piece of gear, very still attached to it, and it looks cool, and I really like the way it operates. But I honestly think every other, like, I'd take the Synergy 800 module over that any day of the week. It sounds so much more like a Marshall to me, right? Or the JMP module, or just a Marshall DSL 50. Like, just the head, I think, is far more effective at doing that thing.
It's kind of smooth to me, that preamp. Like, it doesn't have the crang sound in it, but it's still it sounds cool, but it's just different.
It's the same sort of thing though. Like, if you're doing a session, right, and you've got a PRS Custom 24, and you're like, cool, that's a really good sound. But then you pick up a Les Paul, a good Les Paul for that sound. You're like, cool, I'm always going to pick the Les Paul. And then I need a kind of jangly single coil thing. I'll always pick up a Telly or a Strat first, and probably prefer that. Whereas playing live, I'd grab the PRS because I know it can cover all that kind of stuff. So it's in that isolated environment where you're trying to go for maximum character. Maybe that's what it is. I think the JMP one's just a little characterless. Like, they took all the ugly stuff out of what makes a Marshall work.
Man, it's just horses for courses, isn't it?
But then at the same time, I did lots of fun gigs with that thing, so I'm sure I can make it sound good. And, hey, Iron Maiden, Def Leppard played arenas for decades with those things. How bad can they be?
Yeah. I mean, it works for that stuff. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I'm not going to rush out and spend $1,600 on one now, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. Hey, who's to blame for that?
Yeah, there he is, everybody. Look at him.
Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. Well, on that note, mate, while we've spoken about the okayest things and our favorite things, that's it. I feel like this is the Christmas episode done. I hope everybody gets what they want for Christmas. Is today Festivus, by the way?
Oh, it's 23rd. I think so, yeah. What is it?
Got a lot of problems with him.
Feats of strength.
Here we go.
You have to pin me.
I feel like this is the fill-in for the poll is this Sir guitar in here.
Yep.
Oh, sweet Lord. Well, enjoy your Festivus, everybody. Enjoy your Christmas. Thanks for hanging out on the Gear Podcast so much, and we'll be back in 2026.
Peace.
Peace. Thank you, public.